Set nearly 1,000 years before the events in the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion and the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. The Elder Scrolls Online lets you take part in the story set within the compelling history and deep lore of the Elder Scrolls franchise. Designed to be played exactly the way you want to play, you can start where wherever you like, with no level restrictions. And no subscription required. This massive world explore, alone or with friends. Choose a favorite location or storyline and jump in. From the capital cities of the three alliances to the magical Somerset Heights, from the Khajiit territory of elsewhere. To Morrowind, the home of the Dark Elves. From frozen Skyrim in the north to the endless swamps of Blackmarsh, adventure is everywhere. Are you ready to forge your own legend? Options for creating and personalizing characters in the Elder Scrolls Online are almost without limit. Choose from 9 different character races, with a 10th race option available as an add-on. Select from 6 unique classes and customize them to fill exactly the role you want to play. Want to create a high elf sorcerer? Who wears heavy armor and wields dual daggers for close quarters combat? Why not? Or maybe a red guard dragon knight who prefers light armor and a bow. It's completely up to you. Earn skill points as you adventure across Tamriel to improve your character. Then master and customize your skills to match your style of play. As you explore the world, keep an eye out for sky shards. For every 3 of these rare crystals you collect, you earn a skill point to the in-game skill advisor provides recommendations on how to best spend your points at each level, based on the different roles available to your and you can always reset your skills and reallocate your points whenever you visit a major city, so you can build and play the exact character you imagine. Go anywhere, do anything. That's the freedom presented in the Elder Scrolls Online. The game scales your character to the content. So explore a dark cave or mysterious forest that intrigues you. You're on your own, or with friends. Even if those friends have wildly different levels or belong to different alliances. Dive into the rich and varied story content as a solo player, or join a group to take on the most dangerous dungeons and boss monsters in the world. During your character creation, select one of the 3 alliances competing for power in this era: the Daggerfall Covenant, the Ebonheart Pact, or the Old Mary Dominion. Each alliance features a unique and compelling storyline, but your choice never precludes you from playing with friends of different alliances. The Elder Scrolls Online is designed so you can travel anywhere at any time, no matter your level or alliance. Tamriel is a dangerous place. When you
Welcome to ESO News. As we're starting out a little slow. Not sure what's going on with that. We have a lot of work to do. And I'm talking about we that do care about Elder Scrolls. If you don't care about Elder Scrolls, get out. And the daily login rewards in your Xbox, Steam, and PlayStation consoles. You guys are going to be receiving a Sword Singer's Redoubt. That's going to be some interesting stuff as we're looking further into the mapping systems for the next chapter. It's kind of apparent, looks like that Bankerai is one of the main areas that you guys will be looking in. Was in the game earlier today, and that was some sweet stuff. Some people, they don't like to be inside of a place and be left out. Nobody likes to be left out, but if you're going into somewhere you're not supposed to, looks like you're stuck in an Oathsworn pit. You like that? You probably don't like that. Hearing that from me or from someone else. If you're going into somewhere you weren't supposed to, you're going into Oathsworn pit whether you like it or not. I'm laughing along with a lot of other people. You're getting stuck in an Oathsworn pit. And you'll soon find that out over in Sword Singer's Redoubt. You can easily see it. Easily. Vanuit Hen. So those of you guys over in Aberdeen are looking to go over into Hoquiam here tonight for tonight's game. That's going to be some sweet stuff as we're getting prepared. I'm not for sure what's going on with the electronics, but we got some stuff to work on. So we'll start out right here with the daily login rewards and the getting the update 42 completed with the pre-template of 9.3.5. Currently, we are presenting version 9.5.2 as the 9.3.5 picture is being seen. Now, welcome to the Elder Scrolls Online, version 9.3.5. We have the number 9, now we're looking for the number 5. Well, we can't switch around a number from 9.5 because it's 9.3.5. So we've got to do some spoken work and written work. That's the beautiful part about being able to re-edit stuff, to learn a bunch of information. And our first DLC for 2024, Scions of Athelia. This DLC features 2 challenging new 4-player PvE dungeons. Oathsworn Pit is a training ground for Malakath's Chosen, and the God of Curses demands you enact revenge on behalf of the fallen. In Bedlam Vale, located within the demiplane of Maelstrom, you'll find cultists have invaded, and it's up to you to defend this ancient vault and the mysterious relic it protects. Completing these dungeons gives you the chance at obtaining a number of new items, sets, collectibles, achievements, and more. As part of the free base game update, we've added 3 new PvP, not you, item sets that are earned from rewards of the worthy, in addition to a new antiquity. We've also unified gear repair kits to aid in any inventory woes. And siege equipment will also now stack. Hey, somebody's got to say it to them. Undaunted key rewards have been increased. And we've also updated graphic settings, presets, and the minimum specs for the game. We hope you enjoy this year's first DLC, which is approximately 2.26 gigabytes in size, which is increasing as we learn more information inside of the pre-template of 9.3.5, as we're gearing to get 9.5.2 done and over with to where we can get to 10.0.1. So looking in here with that, with the table of contents, new features, updates, big changes, Scions of Athelia DLC game pack with 2 new sets, achievements, and titles. Update 41 base game is being completed for update 42 to occur with unified repair kits, stackable siege weaponry, new rewards for the worthy, new antiquities, new collectibles, increased undaunted key rewards, tutorial updates, new furnishings, new container icons, UI font rendering, mean spec update, updates to graphic settings presets, combat and gameplay, combat and abilities, itemization and item sets, companions that you guys are going to absolutely love getting into the next chapter that's coming up here really soon in the upcoming month of June. So make sure you get into deck builders here. If you weren't getting involved with deck builders already, you're not going to get involved with deck builders. We're about to celebrate in deck builders coming up here on the 5th. It's going to be Pascha for us coming up here on the 5th. A little strange from some of the past recent years of having a week after Easter Pascha is occurring. So that's something to look forward for those of us that are celebrating Pascha. Hopefully you guys are getting ready with new updates, features, big changes, DLC game pack, new 2 dungeons, Oathsworn Pit. For centuries, the secluded retreat of Oathsworn Pit has been a proving ground for followers of Malakath, honing their martial skills in the shadow of the Daedric Prince. A band of wood elves calling themselves the Recollection have recently arrived with an ultimatum: join their army or die. Bending the knee to these usurpers would draw shame in the eyes of Malakath, and battle commenced. Now the lodges of the pit stand against the recollection to free themselves from the shackle of servitude. But do the wood elves have another motive? Are you wood elves going down into Osworm Pit? I can't wait to see if by looking up on top at you. Don't think that's not happening. All of us know it. We were outside Bankerai. We're all sitting there. We were all sitting there and looking down at you recollections. You down in the pit. You going down in the pit, and you're going to stay in the pit, and you're going to work in the pit. You think you're going to be working in Bedlam Bell? Well, first, you got to get the workshop of Fa Nuit Hen. Bedlam Val has been invaded by a mysterious force calling themselves the Blind Path, and led by an imposing Daedra known as the Blind. Pretty easy in Bedlam Val, talking about the blind leading the blind path. You know, the blind leading the blind. Our forces have seized control of the workshop, searching for an artifact of great importance, the Echoneer. Fa Nuit Hen, ever delighted by surprises and tests, is amused by this intrusion. And could he remember what the Echoneer was or where it was? He would undoubtedly seal it away. One thing is for certain. The artifact must not fall into the hands of the blind and her forces. So, talking about today's word, talking about you're kind of a lump, like a bump on a log. Well, you kind of got to become a new bump on a log to understand Osworm Pit. And Bedlam Vel are 4-player dungeons which can be reached via the Riok and Rothgar, respectively. Osworm Pit's entrance is in the northern section of the Riok. The entrance is north of the Druidok Mountains Way Shrine. Bedlam Vel entrance is located in western Rothgar, north of the Siege Road Way Shrine. I kind of say that because I don't want to say the Reach, because there's too many words saying Reach. So I just say Riok. Both dungeons include normal version in addition to veteran version. Make sure you guys get into deathmatch. Each dungeon features challenging hard modes for each of their 3 boss encounters. Once you get into deathmatch, you can just beat those boss butts. There are unique item sets, including 2 new Undaunted Monster Mask sets, only available within the dungeons. So, Osworm Pit buddies, you better get in the dungeons with unique achievement awards are available for completing the dungeons, including the following. Oh, how sweet. You thought you could go in, but everybody told you not to go in, and you're in now. You have a lot of work to do in the dungeons. You got to get through Osworm Pit and Bedlam Vel dungeons. Unique skin. The blood marks of Malakath are available for those who complete both Osworm Pit and Bedlam Vel on at least veteran difficulty and trigger the achievement Scions of Athelia Delver. You might wonder why I'm being so strict, and you'll kind of understand why I'm talking like this here in a little bit. 2 new mementos, the Malakath Helm Hunt and Echoneer Examination. Mementos are available players who complete Osworm Pit and Bedlam Vel, respectively, on at least veteran difficulty. Unique die. No, not Princess die. Artifact Hunter Amber is available for those who complete the Retribution Takes Time achievement. Several titles, unique housing items. I don't know if Hunter Amber is going to be available for those of you guys that are going into places that you're not supposed to. Artifact Hunter Amber is not going to show up for those of you in Oathsworn Pit who are going to places you shouldn't be. I already saw it, and there was a lot of other people that saw it. So you that went in that wasn't supposed to, kind of saying you shouldn't have gone in there. Somebody went in there that wasn't supposed to. You're the one that went in there that wasn't supposed to. New item sets. We have added several new item sets and monster masks to acquire from the Scions of Athalia dungeons. Bedlam Veil, Light Armor, Blind Path Induction. 2 adds 1096 maximum magicka. 3 adds 4% healing done. 4 adds 1096 maximum magicka. You know what I'm going to say after the number? 5. So we've got 9.5 starting up. Now we're looking for the last number 2. Increase the strength of your damage shields by 13% to targets 15 meters or closer to you. Increase your healing done by 13% to targets more than 15 meters away from you. Hey, if you went into some place that you weren't supposed to, you're going to have to start understanding this information, which this information is merely impossible to understand. So you better start listening up and not go into those places like you did before. Medium armor, tarnished nightmare 2. Now we have the version 9.5.2. This is some great stuff getting into the next chapter. I think so. I'm really excited about the next chapter coming in, and we have the patch notes for 9.3.5 as a template here for the current version that has just been released of 9.5.2. I'm hoping you guys are having a very good day, and those of us that have to be strict and stern right now, that's a good thing to understand, as we are going to be sending in those of you who have went into those places who were not supposed to. We're going to send you into Oathsworn Pit. So just be prepared. Today in your daily log and rewards, you guys are going to be receiving Sword Singer's Redoubt. That's some pretty sweet stuff. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a quick break. Hope you guys are having a good drive. And bring me over some cake. Going to talk about the M gauge here in a little bit. There's some groundbreaking stuff going on with the M gauge, so stay tuned. I'll be right back. Those of you guys going into those swarm pit, Redley's not going down there with you. You going in to the pit. It'll do you some good. I haven't left you just yet. Oh, the pit's not that bad. Sure, it's beautiful. You're like, what is that? Well, it's a little place that we've built for those of you that like to go into places that you're not supposed to. You're a bunch of wood elves. Called the Recollection. Think about it. The orcs were getting upset, along with the red guards. And they're like, these wood elves were just becoming maddening to us. And so we built a little pit called Old Sworn Pit. A beautiful place to get you better. Hopefully you're enjoying your drive. Welcome back. Hope you're getting ready for getting you into the pit. Do some good. So I'm gonna switch over to some mentality of getting into the engage for some different Elder Scrolls Travels game series. Gonna be some sweet stuff. Going over into Oathsworn Pit is not a terrible nightmare like you might have thought. However, it's gonna test your mind. Really will. Those of you getting into the next chapter, some of you are gonna love going into Oathsworn Pit. It's time to take the plunge and go in there. Everyone's gotta go in there sometime. There's a certain thing that some people talk about where they have their personal Oathsworn Pit they have to go into. For some of you, for this case, you got to go into Sword Singer's Redoubt so you can fix those mistakes that you actually made. Now, I don't know why the picture isn't really showing up and why these things haven't been functioning like they should have been functioning. We got to do some work, and we've got to make these things work in order for us to be able to communicate. If you don't want to communicate with somebody in which you're supposed to, that's kind of demeaning to the person that you're supposed to be communicating with. And if you try to weasel your way out of trying to communicate with that person that you're supposed to, well, you'll lose out in the end. You might be able to temporarily go to different places, but in the end, you're not going to be able to get out of the pit. For those of you that are going into the next chapter and getting involved with Oathsworn Pit, that'll do you some good. That'll do you some real good by getting in there. Taking the plunge right now. Get in there right now. Get in there with your group buddies and dive into the pit. Everyone in O Swarm Pit has got to dive into the pit. Like, what kind of reward is that? That is your daily login reward. Getting into Sword Singer's Redoubt. Because those of you going into the next chapter, that's going to keep you out of Glenumbra. You see what I'm saying? That'll keep you out of High Rock, in which you're not supposed to go into High Rock if you're not meant to go into High Rock. This is the point of what's been written by the patch notes. The Wood Elves that called themselves the Recollection are just digging themselves a big old hole. And they like being in that hole. So, those of you going into the hole, you got to get in the hole now. You put yourself in that hole anyway. Now you got to get in that hole so you can have a little hiding spot. Most likely, people won't see what you're doing inside there. You might be like, I am praying down here, and I really was praying. And someone's like, what? Yeah, I was praying down there. And so the picture is not exactly working like I was expecting. However, I'm going to get into this here right now. I'm going to show you why this is so important for looking into getting the N-Gage, the N-Gage functioning properly. This is fuel for us in Elder Scrolls to actually be able to communicate back and forth to each other through what's called a phone call and or text messaging. That's the most important thing for us to be getting involved with the N-Gage. They're very inexpensive and also a very valuable tool to where we can actually communicate with each other back and forth. What's being seen about the company that is most likely going to take over the N-Gage is T-Mobile. I was over there earlier over the local store, and we tried to get the SIM card, a little complex little radio tool that is one of the most important things to transmit information, like going into the device and then going out of the device into your screen. You see kind of what I'm saying, where we need these devices to function. Currently, what you guys will see is you'll see insert SIM card right here. What the N-Gage is showing, SIM card rejected, and what that means is the machine is not processing properly to where the machine is supposed to be processing, like text messages or a phone call. What I'm talking about is the importance of having these devices being able to communicate over to another cell phone. The most important thing is that so we can call 911. That's the most important thing of getting these devices functioning properly, so we can call in case of an emergency. And you kind of see what I'm talking about, how important these devices are for those of us in the Elder Scrolls, to where we can communicate if we have an accident or if we're in trouble, we can call 911 to get help. And that's the urgency of what I'm talking about, of getting these devices working properly again. back over in 2000, I think that is when the devices first came out. You might think of like Y2K. That's kind of a after Y2K, and then what occurred from there, what what Nokia had done is they're like, hey, we better build something just in case something like a disaster happens. And so that's what's happening right now, to where we get the N gauges working properly so we can communicate back and forth to each other if something's not functioning inside of the system. And so that's the important thing. I'll try to go over the N-Gage like over and over again on what needs to happen. So going to go in here really quick. If you don't know what an N-Gage is, this is what the back looks like on for the N-Gage. Apparently the N-Gage, it comes in different color styles. This one particularly on the edging has a blue coloring, and it's a more of a silver lining on the back, where this is where the battery and the SIM card actually are inserted. Right over here, there's a button where you can go from the left to the right, up and down, and then where the phone calls, you can type in the numbers. What I'm talking about, the importance of having the numbers working properly. The serial numbers can be read on the devices. That's a good thing. For those of you that have the N-Gages working already, that's a great thing that you'll be able to communicate with myself or others that are in Elder Scrolls, in it for life. So what I'm talking about, the importance of us getting these devices working properly is that not only to show the Elder Scrolls game series such as Travels, but also castles in the future, quite possibly having castles in the N-Gage on the device to be able to play. This is considered a mobile device, and so what I'm talking about with castles, it's been presented as a mobile game. And so what I'm talking about with Elder Scrolls Travels, Shadow Key is the most known game of in Elder Scrolls Travels as the game that can be played on the N-Gage. I haven't gotten the Shadow Key game just yet, but looking at the other game series as well, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get the proper information transferred over, as the games might not have fully been developed before. And so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to transfer the files. We're going to have to upload the files onto a specific company device. And what I'm talking about with the company device, right in here, I'm going to show right here of right in here this has a capability of having a memory card. And so I'm not for sure how these all work, but I'm just gonna use the company that is being used. That this was the memory device that was put into the N-Gage. So this is quite possibly the memory card company that's most likely going to be used for the N-Gage. This is the company is called Samsung. So this the Samsung Richlight MMC Mobile. It's 1 gigabyte of memory, and so this is most likely the actual memory card device that's being used for N-Gages. The actual device was originally developed from Nokia, being taken over from T-Mobile. So as you can see, the different companies that are integrating inside of the N-Gage are Samsung and T-Mobile. That's a great thing to be looking at on going further in on the N-Gage. As you can see, let's see here. This is what the actual memory card looks like. It's a little different than you would think. It's like it's a metal. No, it's a cartridge. When you see the cartridges for Shadowkey, this is the same thing. It's just a metal covering to cover from the heat exchange to where the game doesn't overheat the console. This is a heating protectant for the cartridges and the console itself. So as you can see, these are the like some call them SD cards. I think it's called a MMC. But these are the basic, about the size of the cartridges that we're using for the Elder Scrolls game series. And there's other games available as well on the N-Gage, but specifically for Elder Scrolls. As you can see, the memory card both on both sides. Right in here, over for the little slot. Right in here is where the memory card actually goes in, and I'll kind of show how that goes here. So as you see the top here, we want to use the bottom where the picture is. As you'll see, like on Shadowkey, for example, when you're installing the cartridge, you want to see the picture of like somewhat of the picture of Shadowkey. You don't want to insert the memory card by seeing the little metal molecules of the memory card device. So you want to actually see the picture of the game as you insert on this side right here of the console. And it's all sewn up. So we have the you can kind of see this is like the current progress of getting the device to function to where we can call out to 911 specifically. There's not the availability just yet. I'm gonna type in 911. As you can see on here, 911, or you might see it as like 11 and a backwards 9, but it actually says 911. The calling mechanism is down here, where the like near here is down here, and so you're going to see it being called out right now. As you can see, the device didn't call out 911. It just went back to where it says SIM card rejected. The important thing for us is to make a call out to the proper authorities to where we can get help if we need help. And so the purpose of that, of showing you guys, of calling out a place like 911, we can't currently call out 911 like we should be able to. That should be available for everyone to be able to call 911 in case if in case of an emergency. And so that's why I'm explaining how important it is to getting the N gauges functioning properly. I went over to T-Mobile, a local store earlier, and we had a bear of a time trying to get the SIM card actually functioning inside of the device. The other employee that I was working with had never seen an N-Gage before, but they were very excited to see that the device would actually function. And so we tried to get the device like functioning, but we couldn't get it totally functioning. And so after that, I went over to Xfinity and talked to some of the guys over there, and I was asking them, is our area code changing over to 564? Over in the local area of Washington, the regular area code is known as 360. The assumption is that this is not verified just yet, but what the assumption is that the state of Washington is changing over to the area code of 564. So this is just new information to me, and so hopefully I can impart some wisdom to where you guys understand that our area code, for those of you that are literally living in the state of Washington, you can understand that the area code is quite possibly changing in all places in the state of Washington. So you guys will really enjoy the N gauge once that is available. It's like a little small console, sweet little console that you can call out and talk to your friends on. Very inexpensive device, and the plans are fairly inexpensive. The capability of the device, you can either choose to have phone calls and text messages, which is the minimum. The devices, the Engage devices, do have the capability to get on the literal internet. What I'm doing with the Engage is I'm producing just the current for telephone calls and text messaging, to where we can receive and send a call. For those of you guys that are getting involved in castles, it's going to be an important thing for you guys to have the ability to be able to receive and send a phone call, text messages, and have the internet on your Engage. If you are getting involved with castles, that's going to be the important thing. Is you'll understand that a little bit later on. If you're just playing a game like Shadowkey, you have the ability to buy a cartridge. They're very expensive right now, and with us getting more knowledge and getting the files transferred over, that's going to take some time, and that's going to take a lot of different people getting involved with the system. And so that's where I'm at on the N gauge right now. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your drive and understanding a little bit more about currently what is going on, not only in Elder Scrolls universe, but in real life. It's an important thing for us to be able to make phone calls and receive phone calls. If we can't do that, we're not going to be able to survive. Hopefully you guys understand that and are having a good drive. I'll be right back. Welcome back to ESO News, as this is the most informative news for the new area code that's coming in. It looks like it's for the greater Seattle area specifically, going with the new area code coming to Seattle area. Looks like the information was brought in on June 15th of 2023. The contact you guys can contact is 360-664-1116 or media@utc.wa.gov. This is some good information here of what this is, what's being talked about here with the new area code coming in. The Utilities and Transportation Commission today approved a plan to implement a new area code to address the need for additional numbers in the Seattle area. The new area code 564 will overlay the existing 206 area code. Current phone numbers with the 206 area code will not change. The 564 area code will be assigned to new phone numbers once no more 206 area code numbers are available. So it says here the North American Numbering Plan Administrator projects the 206 area code will run out of numbers by the end of 2025. The Commission directed the industry to develop a 9-month implementation plan to ensure that the new area code will be ready 6 months before 206 phone numbers run out. The Commission originally approved the single area code overlay for Western Washington in 2000, but postponed it until 2017 due to successful state and national number conservation efforts. In 2017, the Commission approved an overlay of the 564 area code only for the 360 number plan area. The UTC regulates the rates and services of telecommunications companies, investor-owned electric utilities, natural gas and water companies, garbage collection haulers, household good movers, and charter bus companies, commercial ferries, marine pillage, pipeline companies, and a low-level radioactive waste repository. This is some really, really good stuff. Looking into the new area code that's coming in for us. That's a sweet thing to be informed about a new area code. Maybe your phone is just not working. Maybe the phone numbers are just running out. We all need to make a call over to 911, and if we can't make the calls to 911, we can't even make a call out to another loved one. That's an important thing here, to understand what's going on and being informed, not only in the communications field, but also on Elder Scrolls. This is some really fun stuff for you guys to understand that are outside of the state of Washington, to understand what's going on currently with the radio telecommunications field.